Okay, so Malbec. Now for the wine geeks, if you want to know absolutely everything about Malbec history, we go back to Roman soldiers, go through Cahors, they see vines there, they love the wine. Then Eleanor of Aquitaine, the court of love. This is the famous queen that was married first to a French king, then to an English king. So she was queen of France and then England. Henry II was about 10 years younger than her, so she was the original, do you call them cougar? Anyhow, that was her. Very famous woman, and she founded the court of love, which was this place where women basically sat around and men sang songs and read poetry to them. And I actually think that we should go back to the court of love, because I'd like to sit around and have men say poetry to me, and they drank Malbec. That was part of the fun. And then after Eleanor, Malbec was famous at the court of Francis I, and Francis I loved Malbec. He was around in the Renaissance. He called Malbec le plant du roi, which means the plant of the king, and everywhere he went, from his Fontainebleau castle to Burgundy, where you plant Pinot Noir, he actually had them plant Malbec because he loved Malbec so much. And the other interesting thing about Francis I is that he was the patron of Leonardo da Vinci. And he is why the Mona Lisa is in France, because he purchased the piece of art from Leonardo da Vinci when he was his patron, and that's why the Mona Lisa is in the Louvre. And this is Francis I, and notice he's wearing a beret like mine, but actually in Argentina we call this a boina, because it's the hat that the gauchos, the Argentine cowboys, wear. And the other thing I love about Leonardo da Vinci and the Mona Lisa is that my family's Italian. Catena actually means chain in Italian, and my great-grandfather, Nicola Catena, came from Le Marche to Argentina and planted his first Malbec vineyard in 1902. So actually I have so many different connections to Malbec. Now after Francis I, Malbec went to Bordeaux. Now Bordeaux is the place where the famous Grand Crus, the first growths, are grown. You have Pauillac, you have Médoc, famous wines like Chateau Lafite, Chateau Latour, Chateau Margaux, Chateau Cheval Blanc. Now these wines in the 18th and 19th century had a very large percentage of Malbec. It could range from 10% to 60% in some places like Saint-Emilion. And Malbec was considered absolutely necessary for the blend because it softened the Cabernet tannins. The Cabernet was considered to be very tannic, and it needed the soft Malbec tannins, which came along with this beautiful texture and color, the dark color, to make the Cabernet taste better. And that's why these chateaus in France had so much Malbec in their blend. Now, when phylloxera came in the late 1800s and decimated the vineyards in Europe, not just France, but Spain and Italy, Malbec was replaced. Now that's because they had what they called global cooling. And Malbec is a late ripening variety, and they weren't sure that with global cooling it would still ripen. And also Malbec is a very delicate variety. So if you have a couple of cold days, the yields go way down. The French were worried about this, so they said, yes, we love Malbec, it has the soft, smooth tannins, but we're going to replace it with more Cabernet and with Merlot, which ripens earlier. And that's how Malbec almost completely disappeared in Europe. Even Cahors, the native, birthplace of Malbec, almost disappeared. There were almost no vineyards planted there. When we had in Argentina, over 100,000 acres of Malbec, there was almost none of it in Europe. That was in the 1960s. Now, Malbec had gone to Argentina before phylloxera in 1852, and it just grew well in Argentina. My father says he asked his grandfather, Nicola Catena, the Italian, why did you plant Malbec? And he said, I just planted it because it grew better than anything else, and it made the best wine. And, I often think of Malbec and Argentina as a marriage made in heaven. It just works.